It's Wednesday, July 8th, 2020. There is so much happening right now. I've got a stack of articles that I want to share with you today. NASDAQ hits a record high. Dow Jones was just going back and forth. Last hour, they pull it out. Dow Jones closes up 177 points. And when I share with you some of the numbers and what is happening to this economy, there is no doubt, and there will be no doubt in your mind, that these markets are so manipulated. They pulled off another miracle today, yet people are continuing to be oblivious and ignore what is really happening to the U.S. economy because they just look at the stock market and believe everything is okay. You and I are witnessing the biggest melt-up in world history, and a reckoning, a financial reckoning, is coming to the world and the globe. And millions are going to be devastated from this. Billions of people across the globe are going to be devastated because of this melt-up. When this crash hits, it is going to be unlike anything we have ever seen in the history of planet Earth. There is no doubt. This melt-up is getting very, very worrisome. Just again, the miracles they can pull out in the last hour, the miracles that they can perform by hitting buttons, putting in the plunge protection team, buying stocks, lowering interest rates, injecting billions of dollars into the repo markets, into the stock markets. It's incredible, the manipulation, but don't be fooled because the day of reckoning is coming. You know, I was watching one of the financial shows this morning, and there was a woman on there, an economist who came on, and she said that once the consumers feel positive, they will spend. And I'm sitting here this morning going, spend what? They're jobless. They're broke. Their credit cards are being tapped out. They have scorched through whatever savings they had. How is the consumer going to feel confident when he or she doesn't have a job, doesn't have a savings, has uncertainty about the future? How is the consumer? They need the consumer to save this economy, but the consumer is going broke. The consumer is drowning in debt. The consumer is desperate. The consumer is jobless. The consumer has big trouble. And now they cannot rely on the consumer to save this. They can try and save the stock market all they want. And again, the Dow Jones can go to 90,000 points. Doesn't matter. The economy is going deeper into this depression, and millions of people right here in America are going to be in very, very big trouble. If you watched my video yesterday, the tent cities that are popping up here in Southern California, it's scary. Every time I go near one of these tent city areas, they get bigger. They're expanding. When I'm driving down the freeway, I see more homeless people living off the exits, living near the railroad tracks, living behind trees, tents everywhere, cardboard boxes everywhere. They're popping up everywhere. We are witnessing an epidemic that is being caused by this economy. Look, when states and local governments go broke, they have no place to shelter these people. And so we've got people wandering the streets with mental disorders, drug addictions. We got vets wandering the streets. We got people who've lost their jobs wandering the streets. We got a real serious epidemic here, and it's about to get much worse because we are going to see millions of people going homeless. Before I go farther into this video, I need every one of you, if you could, comment down below if you know anything about this. Bank of America, a couple people have contacted me today. I've seen articles on Facebook locally in my area that there is no cash in the ATMs with Bank of America. I know a couple people personally who went to Bank of America ATMs today. They were out of service, out of cash. And so let me know if you're having that same problem in your area and what it might be. What is going on? And you know, when I hear stuff like this concerns me because the reckoning is coming to America, no doubt about it. We are going to see the biggest crash in human history. Do you really believe that your bank is going to be open when that happens? Do you think your ATM is going to have cash in it? when that happens? Do you think you're going to be able to go to your safety deposit box and get your gold and silver and diamonds out of it when this happens? No. Banks will close down, they will lock down, and you're not getting anything out of them. So when I hear what's happening, like what's happening with Bank of America today, this is very, very concerning, and use it as a lesson to why you only keep the minimum amount of cash in your bank. And make sure you do not have hard assets sitting in the bank. That's the worst possible place they can be. Make sure you put them where you can access them when you need them. A couple articles today. U.S. budget deficit hits a record $863 billion in June. That's a 100-time increase. And if this doesn't reinforce why you should be buying gold and silver right now, if you have the means to do so, if this doesn't tell you that you need to be holding something physical, look at the debt. $863 billion in June. This is the deficit we ran in June. That means that we have more going out than coming in. We had $863 billion more going out than coming in. That's incredible. I continue to have people write to me, where should I buy gold and silver? Look, I don't own a gold mine. I don't give financial advice. I buy my gold and silver from SD Bullion. I have a link down below. They've been phenomenal. And I'm a customer of theirs because of the people on this show who recommended them to me. And I've been shopping with SD Bullion for about 1.5 years now. I know many of you do. And the feedback has been very, very positive. Service has been great. So SD Bullion, link down below if you need silver or gold. And look at the prices today of what silver and gold did. And I know the trolls will be out there saying I own a gold mine and I'm trying to sell you something. I don't care if you buy it or not. I'm buying it. I believe in it. I wish I did sell it because I believe in it. But if you listen to me over the last couple of years and you bought precious metals, you did very well, especially if you bought gold. You did incredibly well. For the trolls out there who said gold would be at $600 at this point and silver would be at $3, $4, or $5 at this point, you were very, very wrong. And I hope people didn't listen to you. Another article today, retail apocalypse accelerates. 8,700 stores closing this year. 2019, we lost 9,302 retailers. This year so far, we have over 87 store closures, 8,700 store closures in 2020. Coresight Research is forecasting right now that we could lose, by the end of this year, 25,000 retailers. So that means July, August, September, October, November, December, in the next 6 months, we could lose a massive amount of retailers. Have you noticed the implosion of commercial real estate sitting vacant in your cities? I sure have. As I was in Orange County, there are way more vacant buildings than I've ever seen. Out here in Riverside County, record-breaking number of vacant buildings. And we've really seen the uptick just in the last probably 6 months. And unfortunately, it is going to get much worse. Look, the vacant buildings were piling up last year out here, okay? But they have been accelerating. The vacancies have been accelerating the last 4, 5, 6 months. Commercial real estate loan delinquencies hit a high of 10.32% in June. We have not seen anything like this since 2012. Again, this is another bellwether indicating what is happening in the real economy, not the fake Ponzi scheme stock market that is completely controlled and manipulated, but what's happening in the real economy, what's going to really affect you. We look at the bankruptcies that are taking place with these retailers, and I wrote down a few of them in this article, just to give you an idea, a gist of things that is taking place right now and why you need to be preparing and why the television keeps telling you things are fine, everything's coming back, don't worry, don't be concerned. You need to be very, very concerned. because this is telling you and I that things are bad, that we are in a depression right now, and this thing is just beginning. Pier 1 closing 936 stores. Neiman Marcus going to close 20 stores. Signet Jewelers 232 stores. AT&T going to close 250 stores. Gap 230 stores. Yes, 100 stores. Macy's will close 125 stores in the next 2 to 3 years. Office Depot closing 90 stores. Victoria's Secrets, 250 stores. Wilson Leather, 199 stores. Nordstrom's, 16 stores. Over the next 12 to 24 months, we are going to see massive devastation with these retailers, commercial real estate, and unemployment. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no V-shaped recovery, and there is no V-shaped recovery coming. Prepare accordingly. This is the time right now that all of us need to be hunkering down and really preparing for this economic reckoning that is coming to America. It's begun, but we haven't seen anything yet. Just look at this. This is just a small list that I gave you. There's so many stores. I mean, we could possibly see 25,000 retailers closed by the end of this year. This is just a small little list just to give you an idea of what's going on. Think about the amount of people who will lose jobs. How will these people make their mortgages, the rent payments, the car payments, the credit card payments? How will cities, take in money when people are unable to pay taxes? When these buildings sit vacant, they're not paying taxes in your cities. When people can't afford to pay their mortgage, who's going to pay the taxes? Who's going to pay for the police, the firemen? This thing is a powder keg, and it is just one spark away from blowing up. CNBC today, storied apparel brand Brooks Brothers files for bankruptcy as it seeks buyer and closes dozens of stores. When we were in Newport Beach the other day, I passed by a Brooks Brothers, and I like their shirts, I like their ties. I've purchased many of their shirts and ties. Great store. Really, really sad to see. But it's the sign of the times. But let me tell you a little bit about this store. It was founded in 1818, filed for bankruptcy today. It's the oldest U.S. men's retailer. What a shame. When you have an iconic company like Brooks Brothers and it's struggling. 250 U.S. stores. And I think they have thousands internationally, but 250 U.S. stores. They're going to close 51 of those 250 stores. More people will be unemployed, more vacant real estate coming. Really sad. Here's another one on CNBC. Bed Bath & Beyond to close 200 stores over 2 years as sales fall almost 50%. Sales fell 49% to $1.31 billion from $2.57 billion just a year ago. The company said it plans to close roughly 200 stores in the next 2 years. More, and these are good-sized stores, right? You've all seen them. They're big stores. Well, you're going to see roughly 200 more big vacant commercial buildings. Levi Strauss falls 62% in second quarter to cut 15% of corporate workforce. So where's the V-shaped recovery? Where are people going to get jobs? What are we going to do with all of this vacant real estate? And we are going to see the worst commercial real estate hit we have ever seen. And this is going to transition right over to housing. So we're going to go from a commercial real estate crash, and I believe it's going to transition over into a residential housing crash. Here's another article today on The Hedge. 53% of restaurants have closed permanently. Yelp data shows. And if you watched my video yesterday, as we were down in the Newport Beach area, we stopped over at a chicken restaurant that I've been going to for over 20 years, a place called Charles Chicken, fantastic. And the owner literally didn't want to come on and talk, but really shooken up about what's happening to his business. And it's really, really sad to see a small business owner who just makes phenomenal food, who's been around for over 20 years, just not knowing if he's going to make it to the end of the year. And that's really, really sad. But there's thousands of them, and hopefully he makes it. And, we should all try and help a little bit with our local communities. If there's a good restaurant, even if it's takeout, if you have the means, if you can help support the restaurant or the local retailer, we should try to do that. I'll tell you, I'll shop anywhere with any retailer besides Walmart. So I will give my business to any retailer in my area besides Walmart. Another one on CNBC, United warns 36,000 employees of potential job cuts as infection roils travel demand. Big trouble. Where's the V-shaped recovery? Where's this big comeback? They have been flipping the switch to try to get this economy going, and the fuse is dead. The fuse is dead. The switch isn't working, and this economy is not turning back on. It's going to get worse, okay? I hate to tell you the bad news, but this is reality. This thing is going to get much worse. The devastation is going to be historic. This will go down in the record books as the worst economy America has ever seen. This is already unfolding to be worse than the Great Depression of '29. The numbers are already worse. And the problem is today, debt. The people today have so much debt that they are not going to recover like the people did back during the Great Depression. This is going to hit much harder. It's going to last much longer. It's going to be much more devastating. And most people today don't even know how to cook a hamburger, okay? They can barely operate a microwave oven. And so people are not self-sufficient. Half the country's on pharmaceuticals. We got massive addiction problems. We got anxiety problems. We are in a really, really bad place here. And of course, the country is severely divided. And again, it's a powder keg. Here's another one on CNBC. 32% of U.S. households miss their July housing payments. 19% of Americans made no housing payment at all during the first week of the month, and 13% paid only a portion of their rent or mortgage. Is this not telling you how bad things are getting? This is the fourth month in a row that a historically high number of households were unable to pay their housing bill on time and in full. This is a strong predicator of more missed payments. So if these people who are struggling can only pay a portion of their July payment, how do they pay August? More than likely, they don't. And, we've got to remember, these moratoriums are ending where landlords couldn't foreclose. The $600 bonuses end at the end of July. And this is going to be very, very big trouble for people like this who are falling behind. Imagine how many of these people are not making their auto payments. How many cars are being repoed. Over the last few days, I've been seeing these car trailers, these car haulers with G-Wagons, Mercedes, BMWs, you name it. Really nice cars, all used. I've probably seen a half a dozen in the last 3 days, loaded with very nice cars. I don't know where they're going, but more than likely they're repossessions. And I'm sure that if anybody's in the repo business, please comment down below. Let me know, let all of us know. What's happening in the repo business? Are you busy? Is it mediocre? Are you slow? I would probably imagine you are very busy. CNBC today, gold smashes through $1,800 level as investors bolt for safety. Gold now at a 9-year high, but the trolls told you it was going to 500, 600. They told you silver was going to $3, $4, $5. The trolls were wrong, and I hope you're not listening to the trolls. This stuff is going to get much more expensive, and it's going to get much harder to get. If you have the means and ability to buy gold, I would buy it now because it is going over $2,000. In fact, you may be paying around $2,000 with the premiums right now. It's getting very, very close. And I believe silver is going to go along for the ride. So, make sure you are diversified. I don't give financial advice. but holding too much paper is going to be dangerous. If you don't hold it, you don't own it. You need to be holding physical assets, physical, tangible assets. And gold is really starting to move. And you know what? I think gold should be much, much higher right now. I think silver should be much, much higher right now. But again, they've done whatever they could to smash these prices down, suppress them. But they are losing the battle because they're going to lose control. And when they do, you're going to see numbers with gold and silver that you never thought humanly possible. That day is coming. So I want to go over one last article on CNBC today, and it's titled, Fed's Mester Says Economic Growth Leveling Off, Sees More Help Needed. Cleveland Federal Reserve President Loretta Mester said economic activity is leveling off in her region, and she told CNBC that help is needed. So where is the recovery? What is everybody talking about on the television? These financial analysts, these financial shows, these economists all telling us to remain calm, jump into these overvalued markets, buy stocks, buy into the bubble. But we have a Cleveland Federal Reserve president here telling us that economic growth is leveling off and help is needed, meaning more stimulus, more bailouts, more quantitative easing, more money printing, okay? More help is needed because the economy cannot stand on its own 2 feet. So I'm going to wrap it up right there today, but I want to leave you with this. Make sure you continue to prepare, continue to be awake, continue to walk close to God, and continue to protect yourself financially. More bailouts are coming, more stimulus is coming, but ask yourself, who's going to pay for all that? We're going to pay for that with the devaluation, the debasement of our currency. Hyperinflation is coming to America. Look, every time I go to a store, every time I go to the grocery store, I cannot believe how quickly prices are rising. It's already happening right before your very eyes, yet many people ignore what is happening. You know, many people can ignore it because they're getting the benefits right now. They're getting the stimulus. They're getting the $600 bonuses. They're getting the unemployment check. They haven't had to pay rent because of the moratorium. The moratorium is ending July 24th. People now will be getting evicted from their apartments. July 31st, the $600 bonuses end. That's going to be on average a 61% cut for the people who are receiving these benefits. That's huge. So reality begins after the month of July, and people's lifestyles are going to take a huge cut. And what are these people going to do with no job, with a $600 or 61% cut in their income? What are these people going to do who haven't paid rent because they were protected by a moratorium that ends July 24th? If all this is not extended, tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people are going to be in very, very big trouble. Many of them can become homeless. So we are going to see some real tragic times here in America, and I don't want this to happen to you. Again, this is not the time probably to be buying a house. If you were one of my relatives, and I don't give financial advice, but if you were one of my relatives, I would tell you you're out of your mind if you were looking at a piece of real estate right now. This is not the time to buy a car. This just isn't the time. This is the time to hunker down, be very, very small, and be ready to transition with this economy. Because it's going to be turning and moving very, very quickly. And if you cannot move quickly with this economy, if you are weighted down with a lot of debt, a lot of bills, you're going to be a casualty. You will be a statistic. This is the time to hunker down, get your bills under control, get your debts paid off. If you have some extra money around, buy some precious metal, buy some food. Number one, you better have security. I don't think I have to tell anybody out there what's going on. Just turn on your TV. It's getting absolutely crazy. And you don't want to be a statistic of this violence that's taking place. And we're going to see much more of it coming. Things are going to be heating up this summer. It's already begun. The day of reckoning is coming. And I pray for all of you, and I really appreciate all the people who have prayed for me. Please pray for this country, and make sure that instead of criticizing one another, judging one another, that we come together. Stay close to your friends and your family, and walk close to God.